Hello indie game fans! The indie game train continues to roll on in October, where things have a tendency of heating up in the last quarter of the year, but if you're watching this on the day of release, don't sleep on September just yet, since there are plenty more great games to come. But do check out the indie games that I'm most excited about next month. Let's begin with They Always Run, one of the best looking action platformers that I've been pretty excited about ever since I came to know of it, and it was a nice surprise to find out that it is finally here. Most interestingly, you play as a 3-armed mutant bounty hunter, travelling the galaxy in order to claim bounties on the most dangerous prey. The third arm is used primarily in combat, allowing you to face off against multiple enemies and even to block or parry attacks, making the action look sleek and the combat a highlight. There does appear to be a little bit of a Mark of the Ninja style stealth action in this, but it's primarily an all-action title, where I'm pretty impressed with the silhouetted look in certain areas. I think that the idea for A Little to the Left is pretty ingenious, essentially an OCD simulator, where you need to ensure that everything is in order and in the right place, whether it be straightening picture frames, arranging books or pencils. I think that a lot of people can identify with this game, making it a very clever idea. There are a couple of management/auto battler titles of interest, the first of which is Gladiator Guild Manager, which, as in the title, has you managing your group of warriors in order to dominate the arenas. It does look pretty good, as if Warcraft 3 was crossed with totally accurate Battle Simulator, and, I'm not being dismissive, does have a certain flash game quality to it, which is wonderfully nostalgic, looking like it could have been on Armor Games or something. Still, I do like this genre and I'm intrigued by the base building portion for the guild, looking like it could be quite the compelling experience. I generally enjoy most of the titles published by Neon Doctrine, so it's no wonder that The Legend of Tintin makes the cut, telling the tale of a Taiwanese folk hero that has many of the same traits as Robin Hood. It is set in colonial Japan, Taiwan, in the early 20th century, a time period often portrayed in Asian movies, so if anyone grew up in this region, I'm sure that you'll know what I'm talking about. The cel-shaded comic book look is pretty impressive, combined with some sleek action due to the martial arts base, and you got my attention. There are straight up power-ups in this with magical talismans, and the developers did even go so far as to put a mini-game in this based on the traditional Taiwanese board game, so it looks like the effort has been put in and I hope it turns out well. Another auto battler title that I have a very keen eye on is Despot's Game. First and foremost because it's in pixel art, but the sheer variety of units that you can have looks great as well. Developer Confa Games is sticking with an art style similar to their previous title, Despotism 3K, which is definitely worth a look, only this time, you're actually taking a team and battling various monsters. It's a roguelite in design, so I do wonder how the various classes will stack up and synergize with each other, looking to be another game with a huge amount of potential. If you have hung around the channel long enough, I'm sure that you would have picked up that I love my cozy games, since there's just something pleasant and healing about playing one of these, with the example of the month being Moonglow Bay. Rather than the expected farming game, this is a title that is focused on fishing, where you have the task of catching as many fish as you can and to restore a sleepy town to its former glory. While I'm not the biggest fan of voxels, this does look very pleasant indeed, so I cannot wait to dive in. Like it or hate it, the Epic Games Store does have some absolute bangers as timed exclusives, the first of which is Solar Ash, the next title from the developer of Hyper Light Drifter. It's a 3D action-adventure game that seems to have some DNA of Jet Set Radio as our protagonist effortlessly glides across the world, but does have its share of giant bosses as well. In a similar way to their previous game, the narrative has to be uncovered, since I cannot really find any description of what is going on in this game, but without a doubt, it's a beauty and a title of interest. A game that has been on my list of pixel art titles to watch is The Unliving, a roguelite action strategy title where you play as a necromancer, having to raze human cities to the ground and to turn your enemies into your minions. While the necromancer game as a concept has been done before, it's always fun when you command a huge army of skeletons, but the technology in this does appear to be able to support quite a number. The roguelite nature of this game means that there is a procedurally generated world every time, and a built-in excuse for the run-based structure, which is always nice to see in this genre.
Good morning, Mr. Riggs.
Good morning, Ashley.
It's a beautiful day. Let's go for a walk.
Oh boy, one of the games that I've been looking forward to for such a long time finally releases with The Rift Breaker, one part twin-stick shooter action RPG, one part factory builder, and one part survival game. I'm a fan of developer Exor Studios ever since I played their previous game, the tower defense title known as X-Morph Defense, where they have brought that fantastic art style into this game as well. You are a commando scientist hybrid sent to establish forward operating bases on alien planets, having to build up production chains while fending off aliens. I love the RPG elements and weapon customization shown off, where you're able to equip and compound mods on your weapons, Path of Exile style, to truly unleash devastation. The Diabolian style base defense aspects looks great as well, with a huge number of enemies on screen, truly making this a no-brainer for the month.
You were right to fear the world. It has gone mad.
One of my favorite indie games of all time gets a sequel with Darkest Dungeon 2, releasing on the Epic Games Store and does look like more of the same on the surface, but the developer does drop hints that it may be something different. No fancy release trailer just yet, but I've included some screenshots where the combat and settlement building interface looks similar, but apparently this game is more about a journey onwards rather than rummaging around under the manor as in the first game. Still, very high hopes for this, taking the number 1 spot. For more RPG titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.